to another episode of What the Fuck is Going On in the Market. So, damn, my bad, I'm trying to light this wood. Um, it's currently 3:53 a.m. So, what's the market up to? Currently, it's now we can check some levels. Okay, but as you can see, obviously from the title of the video, we're going into checking out what the market is up to for the weekly review. Right? Now, I don't trade Mondays, but this is very interesting. If you do trade Mondays, you'd probably be interested in this low right here. Oh yeah, that's nice. And so what I'm saying is, being like a 5 minute chart, right? It's going to what? Obviously tag liquidity here, right? That makes sense. Okay. So we're going to leave some of the other stuff alone, and we're going to come in and just annotate price action. If you want to come and learn more about time and why there's strange numbers all over the place, um, you can come to the Discord. Let's see. So, liquidity. Let's see if we can get that one engineered correctly, or if we want the sell side, but I don't believe we need this one. Looks like the buy side liquidity is the next DLL to me. So, yep, you'll get up there. Watch. It's going to smack this with like some real aggression too. It's funny. So you'll see price like dart towards this, essentially. I'm calling the EQ level. All right. Anyway, let's get back there. We'll come back to that. But now, mind you, I wanted to talk on this here. Okay. Now, I do this a lot because I want you guys to come in and have a better understanding of, what price is up to on a weekly basis. Like, um, it's crazy how thrown off schedule that I got just from being sick. Like, um I was sick for a good like 2 almost 3 weeks. Like, um so me doing all my later videos or whatever, um a few I had to re-record and other dumb stuff like that, but we always make it through. What I mean by making it through is like, dude, being a YouTuber is fun, but it's like the way that I specifically want to do things. And that's because like I'm giving you a moment to either, by the way, just check out like the structure before we explain it. Okay. And so without you having to actually pause the video, because you're not going to do it anyway. So I take time to give you other information than I need to. So, what I like about this, right, is this is one of the few weeks to where the euro actually was chill. You know what I mean? And so realistically, like, not saying this is not like a good consistent like down to up move, but now on a typical like distribution week or manipulation week, you can get some good moves. But the thing about the difference between your manipulation and your distribution is, dude, when we talk about like manipulation, the euro gets serious, man. Oh Lord. Like all of the look, yeah, it gets kind of wild, bro. And I'm on like a hour time frame, so it doesn't look as bad. But when you really break down and see how like how many highs and lows this thing is really producing, it's really not fun, you know. For a lot of people who just get into the marketplace and they already have trouble with like liquidity, for example, like they're going to be eaten up in this area. Like this is really hard to deal with because obviously I told you a lot about the London function, but my bad, I had to hit the wood real quick. So I've been talking a lot about the London function, right? But what I'm saying is, do you see how like Sam Wiki, the fucking wicks are here? It's ridiculous. It's not fun. But compared to that, to current week, a lot fun. Okay. Now, number one, I mean, let's get straight to it. So, when we're talking about some of these things here, we got, oh, so clean, right? And I talk about this a lot of times as a main idea where, and again, we're just simply narrating, right? Nothing too difficult. Okay. Now, mind you, I'm normally actually looking at this on a different um time zone for a reason, but not gonna go into it. So just for the sake of this, we'll just change it back to New York. So London right there. So this is a clear London high today. Now, when you see this London high today, what the fuck do you do with that? That means that when I get into this area here, which is about 8 to 11 o'clock, and I try to section things off and look for other entries, right? It's going to lead me into saying, you know what? Okay, I need to come in and engineer a better sell position still, even though I know that New York, even though it can take out London to the upside, it's likely not going to do that right now. And so if this is really the high of day, that's literal. You know what I mean? High of the session, high of the day. And it pops in at the time that we always expect it. Whoops, my bad. So what I was saying was, this is the London high of the day, and it's literal. So when you're popping down like this, and you can see how New York goes, down, up. London goes up, down, and up in New York, and then down. But my whole point is that when you see this here, and you're worried that London's going to take this, or New York's going to take it out, it can. But if you recognize this as like a literal high of the day, it's not going to do that. That's why you see this slightly lower, of course. So when you see it like this, right, it's giving you sell side liquidity, right, short term. Now, intermediate lows and short term lows are like not so different from each other. They are not very difficult to take out in liquidity later for the market, and it does it fairly quickly as well. But we're talking about like short term versus intermediates, right? It's going to be like an intermediate is just one that rebalances a fair value gap or rebalances an order block or um, you know, is aimed to take some sort of internal range liquidity from a PD array. Okay. So that's why when we talk about these are important for bookmarks, like knowing where the market is going and that your trade is still your direction. Like you want price to give you liquidity constantly and then continue. You know what I mean? So this whole sell move here, yes, you can sell it from London high, but you also can sell it from the small retest and then break back down. So all this is fair game. Go watch the entry hack video if you need to know how to get into this specifically. We're not going to get into that right now. So this is really good. I love these here too. Us being on the 15-minute time frame, you can come in here and then I guarantee find your imbalances too. So I do some dumbass shit like that, right? Oh my. But it's not too far from us, so that's cool. All right. Now, here we go. Watch, ready? Now, this is important, right? So you can come in this area, right? We're saying that like, okay, well, what can we do here? So what I'm saying is, yeah, this weed tastes like Swedish fish. Is that weird? Like, it's not bad though. I don't know. I guess it's like the blunt combined with like the style of weed is kind of nice. I don't know. It tastes like. Hold on. Let me smack it again. I'll tell you again. Hey, no, I'm dead serious. Yeah, it definitely does taste like Swedish fish. Weird. Like, what is that? Like, what sort of terpene is Swedish fish? Like, I'm used to like, a lot of myrcene or caryophyllene or, limonene and pinene has that like that lemony, that little sour taste to it. But like, I'm not really like if you're really, really into weed, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I'm not really into like terpenoline or anything that has like high energy to it. I just really like things that are real, um, anxiety melting and, not coma inducing, but, I just really like nice indicas that relax you and you can just trade and chill, you know? So the reason why we're on the 5 minutes is because we were looking for that what? That imbalance. And I had to show you this on the five because when I talk about certain PD arrays, every PD array, it's time frame specific because the market is, you guessed it, fucking fractal, right? So I showed this before, but I'm gonna show it again. So um, my bad, bro. I smoke a lot of weed, so remind me if I forget if I've had the same conversation with my students versus you guys on my free mentorship. You guys are my students as well too. I love you guys. So, what I'm saying is like this is a easy situation that we talk about often. You know, I give you guys breaker plus fair value gaps a lot. Like these are some of the best setups in the marketplace. And I feel like what's popular now is people are more into like SMT, inverse fair value gap. Those are cool. But what I really like is nothing better than the highest probability of the marketplace, bro. And what's dope is the breaker itself is going to be like a algorithmic type of a different type of imbalance than a regular fair value gap, but it performs the same, it looks the same, so you don't have to really worry about it. But the what the algorithm is really referring to is not really just the gap, but it's combining that with this old low here. So once it makes that breaker structure right, down, up, past the low, back down, past the low, and then perfectly to it, and then back down. Beautiful, beautiful job, beautiful. And again, where you aimed at, sell side liquidity, of course, which is going to be found in your Asia, right? So that's a clean, clean narrative. And what can you do for the PM? I mean, this is great. I mean, you could section it off for your PM bullet if you really, really wanted to. So here, 150 to 210 is what you want to focus on here. Okay. I would drag it down to the 1 minute. I mean, we can. Here, let's do that. So let's do now. I do if you really want to trade PM like nicely, and give yourself a nice little window. I do it like this. You can give yourself like the 1 o'clock, but 150 like towards 2 o'clock is a little better. So like here, I'll just do 1 o'clock for the sake of the argument. All right, now watch, dude. I'll definitely play it Hogwarts Legacy after this one. I'll be up for a while. People ask me like, "Yo, like, are you, bro? I trade London. Like, what do you mean? I'm up at this time every day." So like it being 4 o'clock in the morning, it feels like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So look at this. We talk about these time windows, right? For PM, since I don't really trade it very much, but you guys do, like I'm very routine to where like I'll trade London. I like to be out by 8. If I trade New York, I like to be done by 12:30, 1 o'clock. And so if I do trade at PM, that's really if I um, was busy trading uh, London and I had to do something for New York AM during the day, like, life shit, right? I'll probably end up coming in and scalping the PM, right? Again, very easy, right? Because you can just break it down. So right now, I think trading is acting crazy with, yeah, like, yeah, for no reason these are like not loading. So I mean, I could probably like take it off and reload it or whatever. So let's see. And again, you guys can actually go through these. These are all the like little indicators and stuff that I can, you know, I use or whatever. So shout out to my boy for making the this is a custom candle counter I have. You got to come to the Discord for that one to even understand why we have that. Same thing with a lot of these other, just stuff that we can just use to make, identifying things easier without, um, and you can do it naked. I could do it naked. Why not? But like, I don't want you to have like the RSI, fuck stochastic oscillator. Um, do not have no fucking tool that comes in showing you imbalances. Don't do that. Understand what your fair value gaps look like, and understand what the PD arrays look like. Don't have shit that come and try to identify PD arrays that is not your Goldbach levels. That's stupid. Understand the structures so then you can use it inside the GB levels. Now, what I'm saying is like this is really important here, but we're really talking about like ways to navigate this thing. I mean, be realistic. All you gotta do is just navigate a dealing range in here, right? So you can say what? Where we at? Cool. Boom. Now operate. Nah, ha ha ha. Look at that. Easy. And you actually complete a full 27. That's actually banging. Easy. People say, well, what if I can't see that? What do you mean? You certainly can. I talked to you before about when price steps out of your dealing range slightly. This is nothing but a stop run. Okay. It being a stop run makes it slightly difficult. It's annoying. But what you're going to do is when the indicator itself shifts up, you're just going to check the vibe, right? So look, and again, 27 for EU because it's not using the other ones really, really. It takes a while to get to an 81 for EU. It takes a while. And so obviously, not saying you can't do it in a day, but EU's average like range is like, you know, like roughly 25 to about 70 pips a day. 70 being generous, really like 60-ish. But like, it's really a good level. You could run a multiple 27s or um a 27 and really max out on EU for the day. The 81, 243 for the week. You know what I mean? 243 on a great week. I'll add that. So, realistically, this is really not hard to find, yo. It's not. And so you get the support from my bad resistance from right around your EXT level. And I'm gonna show you something real quick. I don't want you to freak out about it. Only because we're doing the series about half shifting coming up, and you guys will be able to see like certain things that we can do with the half shift itself, and like how and why it makes a lot of sense to do it in certain situations. Okay, so we're not going to worry about that this video, but just to get you guys kind of geared up towards like the intro of that. Part one and part, I think I'll say 1.5, I'll call it that, will be posted on public YouTube for half shifting. Um, Parts two and three of half shift will be likely members only. So, if you're not in the Discord, I told you, man, it's up to you. It's on you. So, there are exclusive videos that you cannot find on this channel and there. So, another thing I'm talking about here, I want you to see here, watch, is we understand this day now. Let's move on. But the thing is that like when people look at a certain price action like this, and they get worried only because they have this idea in their mind that like price is just prone to like reject or reverse anywhere, and that's not true. They're simply not true. Like for example, uh, oh shit, gotta relight the blunt, my guy. But realistically, what I'm saying is, and you already know I'm gonna smoke another blunt right after this, but um, and like I said, bro, I'm just sitting here doing the same thing I always do, smoking blunts, watching X Games or SLS or Tampa Pros or I love skateboarding, man. So I'm just watching skate videos. But the new Shane Goes video is nuts. If you skate and you watch this video, like, um, yeah, let me know, cause geez, that video is crazy. Anyway, so when we're looking at some stuff like this, okay, I'm giving you not just like, what we like about certain things like this, and we're going to get rid of just for now a dealing range, right? Okay, cool. Now, like I said, it's certain things that are time frame specific. All right. So not saying you can't go down and see this on a lower time frame, but notice how like when we talk about this down right here, right? That's that PM session 27 move here. Okay. You do come up. Maybe you thought it was going to be this fair value gap, but that's on you to check your dealing ranges to make sure you're really in a fair value gap level or not. So this could just be a liquidity void that come down, boom, boom, and operate lower. So for example, if you do want to come in, we're going to operate this differently. All right. Now watch. Now number one, it's down here, but let's operate this. Now I've shown my students this one when that was happening, and I expected lower prices. It's obviously inevitable, but this is what I was saying about why I was starting to suggest half shifting and like why it's interesting. You see like this move breaks down from above the e, above the EXT level here, but this fair value gap occurs inside of this EQ level. Now you're not going to get worried about the EQ level. You're going to understand the EQ level and know how to use it correctly instead. Now we understand what's the basis of the market. It runs on liquidity. It's going to seek that. So number one, automatically, yes, we're looking above and below us because we want to know if PM session high needs to be addressed before going any lower. We see this as like a clear high. This is really, really far. So another like again talking about high of the day, and then we start to expand lower. Once we get to Tuesday, which is normally manipulation based, which is why it's so what non-lethargic. It's super, super far, super, super fast. Destroys liquidity from the Monday, no problem. Okay. And overall, I mean, if you really wanted to figure out where price is going, what do? Now, we've been down here on like the smaller time frame the entire time. So we're going to go to really quick, just jump down to a, or I guess jump up, right? So I guess we'll jump up real quick and we'll go in order. So I'll show you what we're referring to. So what I'll do is you can easily turn on weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and go back and just look at like the tops and the bottoms. And so what you're doing essentially is looking for, you feel me? You feel what I'm saying. It's too clean, isn't it? People tell me all the time, they're like, damn, my market organization is quite clean. And I keep it that way for a reason, right? And like I said, bro, as much weed as I smoke does not make me lazy. Trading does not have to be difficult. You just need to understand where the bulk of the liquidity is so that you can operate abundantly and move swiftly. So that means low resistance liquidity runs are taking the buy side liquidity and targeting the abundant side of the sell side, which is going to be your previous day, previous session, previous week lows. So I understand where majority of people might be a little scared that, hey, don't you think price is going to reverse here? This looks kind of bad. Why? Because it taps this low and then instantly retraces. Don't get out of your move here. No. And you can even pyramid in here once you get comfortable. But like I said, this is you for understanding, hey, you know what? This shit needs to go lower. High of the week, easily. Sell side liquidity. And you already know where you're aimed at. So when you pop onto a dealing range, none of this is confusing to you. Hurdle at the top, right? That's my low risk sell area up here. And so when you get to like the end of this, right? And you're like, damn, it really made it all the way down there. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And I was gonna say, watch. Now, realistically, right? Do you see how many weeks back that price referenced this idea here? All right. Now, before I get started, what is this in general? What is this? Market maker sell model, right? How do we know? What do you mean? Like when you look at it, it's clearly a curve, right? My bad, not 27. I was looking for 243. But obviously, when you're looking at this whole curve here, and that thing disappeared like Batman. Oh my God. We need to bring it back. It's above us. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I was going to tell you guys, right? Market maker sell model, but on top of that, where's the real target? Here. We're not even done this yet. So what do you think the market's priming to do? Like it could be bullish all at or it could be bullish all at once too, right? But look at the whole point. Gap. So gap should be reference, right? Okay. Now, mind you, remember we talked about that draw of liquidity, right? Let's do that. Now look, oh look, let's go down here. Now, what did I say about that draw of liquidity and where did I expect it? Let's go back. Let's see. I want to erase this and show you. Remember where I expected price, right? Told you we had buy side liquidity. And I told you we were going to hit that EQ. What's difficult? Trading is not very difficult, bro. It's not. What's next? What's the objective? EQ's liquidity pool, yeah? Clearly. And it's not just going to like stop, right? It's almost there. So do you see how we are going to expand higher and coming from a liquidity void, it's going to go 100% symmetrical price swing. So we're going to expect it from liquidity void. That's what this means, okay? To liquidity void. Okay. So as we're talking about last week's price action, I want you to just focus on where price should be spooling toward. And again, you got more just buy side liquidity, just too many reasons why. And again, fills your new day opening gap. We go a little lower, and now we're going to spool towards these targets here. And mind you, look exactly where I don't even need to look exactly like to certain things. The market technically aligns itself. It's really funny. Once you notice it, you'll be a lot better at this. But that's my job, so I'm here. So people ask me, I've been trading close to 10 years now. Um, I started back in 2016 ish, and so coming up on like nearly 10 years. You know, 2026 is going to be an interesting time. That'll be my 10 years. And yeah, bro, it does not take, it won't take you as long as it took me. You know what I mean? This is like every single day. I have not been out of the marketplace a single um, day since I started. But realistically, though, it took me a year to make like a demo account. So, like me personally, like I was just studying and watching the candles for a year. I just literally could not make a demo account. And so by the time it was 2017, I finally had a little bit of money to get started. Oh, yeah, nah. Game over. Game over. And so we talk about these types of things here, right? Algorithmic price delivery. This stuff is easy, man. Seriously. Easy. And so it's funny that when you look at stuff like this, you're like, yo, well, it didn't quite get there, Jay. I don't know what you mean. Shut the fuck up. You know where it's going. And watch. I'll even let you watch. All right. Before we get back to what we're talking about. All right. Watch how energetic it gets right here. Watch. It's gonna Michael Jordan this shit. Watch. Watch, watch. It acts like it wants to stop and like not take the low. So it does all this extra shit, right? And so right now we're on a 15-minute time frame. I'll show you when we get to the 1 minute, like how clean it is. But watch, ready? It creates more buy side liquidity along with these highs, and it acts like it doesn't want the level. And so when you get it and you see how, watch, ready? Look, watch. I told you. Look at the 1 minute. Watch. It's gonna be like super super fast. It's gonna just trip up like that. Watch. Watch. You see how this candle is like trying to play around, and then it just darts. Watch. There's 30 something seconds left in the candle. See? Oh, remember where I'm expecting it though. Remember, it's up here. Remember where I'm expecting it. Now, you see that, right? Yeah. Now, it's a motherfucker though, because a lot of people think, oh, well, like, is it done? Was it at a target? No, it's not. You have more targets above you. On top of that, the 27 itself, it just got to a premium. So it's not going to technically like come down and be uh, really, really resistant to the upside from here. But what you are going to get is a 3% retracement, which is consequent encroachment. And so, um, have you ever thought about like the space in between the levels? You know what I mean? Or like why it wants to refer to certain spots when it like retraces? Or when gaps get made? Have you ever noticed that they're like in between the levels? You feel what I'm saying? But outside of that, let's get back to what we're talking about. So, I like the lower time frame narrative type stuff because that's a lot of fun for me. But outside of that, we're talking mainly on um, like why this was so easy to navigate. So by the time we get to the Wednesday, right, this is where you just start to shine. Okay. And so let's pop down to a 15, look at the Wednesday. Watch. Now here. This is what I like, bro. Like I like when prices clean like this. And what I'm talking about is like, do you see how we always talk about function? And that's the first thing I always look for, look at, and I love teaching about this. because it really is the easiest thing that he taught us as a mentor. Like, if I really had a mentor, ICT would be the only one. Him and Hoppy would be like the I consider those like the gods of trading at this point. Like they are incredible, and I love the work that they do. You know, it really inspires me a lot. Um, you could clearly see it in my work, but when I'm looking at price action, learning how to narrate or navigate the marketplace in order was really a really big thing I took seriously. So when we're talking about, and I'm looking for the lighter, and I'm like forgetting there's a whole blunt in my hand. Give me 1 second. Let me hit the water real quick, right? Damn, and now heel flip is wild. But what I'm saying is, you need to be a reliable narrator. You need to learn how to be a reliable narrator. Learn how to trust your eyes. You see the same thing in the marketplace over and over and over again. Every single day sets out the same exact way, damn near. Okay? And look, ready? Right from the 15, we talked about that fair value gap here. Okay? Now, you are in Asia. Now, if you understand that it's going to wait till London Killzone to activate, take, okay? So look at the 12 o'clock. That's 2 o'clock. Okay? Now, right between that 2 and 5, so you can expand the window or refine your window. I'll say, not expand. Okay? Look at that. That's your little move right there, right off this order block for value gap, and right down. London is quite manipulative, so it's going to move far and it's going to move fast. Now, I say it like this. You really don't want this one here because this one's like kind of too close to 8 o'clock. You don't really want this gap here. It does work fine, but normally, like in another situation, this might not work as good as it does here. You do not want to take these types of gaps. It's too close to 8 o'clock and the end of the session. You don't want to engage in that. You could do it in a fractal way, or if you have another way to scalp it, if you want to scalp, sure. But I'm saying for days range purposes, normally you don't want this. You don't want to do that. And it's also annoying too when you get to New York, but that's another story. So when we say like we see this down run here, right? Boom, down, up, and down. We understand what the chart is already doing. And I say this all the time. You need to be understanding of your bias, therefore you don't get shaken out thinking that everything is just a fucking reversal. It's not, bro. It's not. It's not. Understand the bias. Now again, I talk about Wednesday, right? London high, New York trades kind of next to it. Fair value gap. Top of the range. It's the right time of the day. And you have liquidity. This is perfect. That's what I'm saying, where you need to be understanding of smaller objectives versus bigger objectives and why we do these market reviews. And just because I'm on EU and you want to be into another asset, okay. Learn how to look at the marketplace the same fucking way. And look, what is Asia? I say it all the time. Asia rarely fucking survives, bro. Rarely. See what I'm saying? Let's change color so you feel me. I'll even drag that out. So all about this price action in the black part is just the Asia price action. And so when it gets taken out by New York, London takes out the buy side. When that is why when this comes down here, we realize that there's nothing left up here in liquidity. Session function is high today during this green session here. That's fine. So all this here, we understand the objective, the purpose of this. You see what I mean? We understand the purpose of that. We pop downward. You see what I mean? Liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. Learn to organize yourself. That's it. You learn to organize yourself correctly. These things are not hard. You ignore or can eliminate a certain side of the marketplace when you have certain algorithmic clues like this. Session high, which is London. New York is a time-based retracement. It doesn't need to take out London. It just needs to slightly retrace when you get to around 8 o'clock. That's it. And then back down. Fair value gap or displacement to fair value gap. So it verifies direction still. This was bullish. Change it in the state of delivery. And you are sell side. Now, these I tell you about all the time because I want you to get comfortable with this stuff. Now, the same way that we're viewing it, this is why I wanted 15 because I told you before, EU can be Sam Witwicky. Like, I mean, Wick City. Like, John Wick. Like, assassinating people with the wicks, literally. Like, geez. It's annoying only because, now let me, hold on, let me light the wood real quick. Now, it's only annoying because it seems as though you're not sure what side is going to break out. But the problem is, you're not really thinking about liquidity still if you're worried about this. I understand where you're saying, well, I'm understanding where it's above and below me, but like what side? I don't know. But you got to understand what I tell you about function. Go in specifically and look. What gets created that's still wide open? Asia lows. How do we know to ignore the buy side and go for sells? These are wide open by the time we get to 8:30 in the morning. This has been mostly mitigated. These are not fully taken at the top here. And the thing about this, I want you guys to understand. If these are really going to be like the high of majority of the day, you're just going to leave this open for later. It's not going to be done with. So whatever move that you make on that you know, sell side in London or New York, you're aiming to take a trade in the top part of this. Okay? And when you look at it, I mean, personally, this is I think there's a certain time frame it's on. Yes, I was going to say, so it should be a 30-minute fair value gap. Yes, exactly. So this is my point. So realistically, you're already looking to interact with this fair value gap. So there's your bias right there. You need a bias and you need a clear target. The Wix does not make this difficult. Do you feel what I'm saying? The Wix don't make it hard. U.AB for liquidity makes it hard. You getting distracted by these candles make it hard. So, but my thing is, when you're looking at this, right? This right here is not the kill zone yet. This is kill zone. You can buy towards this and take profits and be done. And wait for New York and realize you need to sell it down. That makes sense? It's all time based. So if you're looking to trade here, you're looking to be on time. That's London's kill zone. This is New York kill zone. And we'll take this and slice it. Boom, right there. So once we break it into our time windows, you know when to enter, bro. It's not really difficult. I'm telling you, we've already narrated price live. We did a little bit of hindsight movement. And as we're coming into the Friday, and the last part of the video, okay? My thing is, when you're looking at certain areas, and again, we have NFP, all right? But watch, okay? Watch this. Want to show you something real quick. Now, in my Discord, I don't well, I told you about like liquidity voids, but long story short, news candles are basically nothing but liquidity voids. And so you just have to understand where liquidity is and understand time. I said this before in a previous video. If you are scared of the news, don't want to trade it, and you don't want to fuck up an account, practice on your demo, of course, number one. I don't tell you to come in with live accounts, trading news, don't do that. But on your demo account, if you really want to start practicing how to predict it, you can come in and say, you know what? I have some ideas. Now, realistically, right? You need to give yourself an area. Now, these make it easy. I'm just highlighting wicks right now. But what I'm telling you is, do you see how this is up here? It's Thursday. Notice I marked the low first. Then I marked the high. And what I'm saying is, give yourself a area, right? Now, mind you, you're going to find something very incredible in this area that I'll show you in a moment. Ready? And the funny part is, I'm going through like the entire week scenario um, for this like my second time. But looking at this specifically for the news, this is my first time looking at this. So, um, the funny part is like you see this stuff so much, you don't really have to come in and be like, you know what? It's just going to look different from another news event that I've seen before. But what I'm talking about is necessarily like this right here is your range between the low and the high, right? And I'm gonna get to the Goldbach levels in a second. But notice how you have a Judas swing. Now let's zoom in a little bit. Let's get in there. Yep. So notice how we have a I can't even talk. Notice how we have a Judas swing here. Okay. This doesn't make a higher high in London. Right? Interesting. Now I really like Judas swings coming like the night before news or a major news event. London's gonna be a little stale, but I'm not saying it like Asia is, the safest spot. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if you really want to get a piece of the puzzle, before you get to a very volatile price action, you can come in and trade a Judas swing and be done. You don't even have to trade London that night. Be done. But what I'm telling you is, all this is setting itself up for greatness. So you having that low open from previous day, London gives you a low, okay? It's too clean of a low. Now, just because I'm OCD, I mark it like that. Anyway, so when you're looking at something like this, you're seeing how Judas swing, you have a high popping in at 7, only because of news popping in at the 8 o'clock, of course. So notice how this is protected. London didn't even quite get there. Now, this is not the draw liquidity, although this is like the better visual, it being a liquidity pool. But you have to understand the vibe of the marketplace. And watch this. This is what I mean about dealing range. It's not bullish. It's simply not bullish. You really need to have your bias down. And price is going to respect certain highs and lows. So what we're looking for is, now watch this. Now, notice how I'm in the 27, right? And so I'm looking for between the 9 and 27 because they are great for intraday. What I'm looking for is, watch. Exactly. I told you before, news candles are nothing but what? Liquidity voids. Yeah. So I told you, where is my liquidity void located on this partition? If 27 is really, really good for intraday for EU, I should be focused on the 27 or the 81, probably the 27 because it's smaller, and I can get right to the point. Notice how this news candle, it needs to jump to a liquidity void level to create that output. It's doing nothing but simple math. Liquidity void is nothing but PD arrays. So if a PD array needs to be forming, it needs to form into the correct level before working. Huge candle only works from one place on your dealing range. This is your fair value gap. This is your liquidity void. Why do you think it wicks right into that really quick? I mean, picture perfectly. And it does it at a slightly, like, not weird, but it does it like at a specific time of the day, right before news. See what I mean? That's how I was going to tell you. If the news is really, really bullish, it would have broke through this and closed. But notice how it gave all this sell side liquidity, and every single time it actually came to this liquidity void level, what did it do? It waited. Liquidity voids move shit, bro. So you see what I mean? It moved it downside one time to create all the sell side, and all this was just not mitigated. And look, previous day's liquidity was wide open too, so you can't ignore it. And look, you already made it to this high here, and that was algorithmic as well. Smack that perfect. Smack that. So do you see what I mean of like why I organize price a certain way, why I like to confluence things a certain way? Just make it easy for yourself. Trading does not have to be super rocket science all the time. That's it. So, you know, like I said, now where do we operate? Let's see. Now I told you guys where we were gonna play around with, right? Let's see. So let's go here. Let's see if this 27 was worthy of. Aha! I told you. We got that EQ, not just the EQ, but what did I tell you it was going to try and end up? And it's playing around, but level here, right? So, and look, see what I mean? It took this liquidity here from over here. And so there's these highs that are left here. And like I said, you tell me, you think these highs are going to get left open? I wouldn't be so sure about that. But, so I will catch you guys in the next video. Hopefully the EU breakdown was quite helpful for you guys. Peace. And that was fun.